Hi, it's Bunny again, and I just wanted to come on here and make a little reflection video, just yapping about what I've learned and things I've thought about after my birthday. Let's get straight into it. So there are about 4 themes I've been through in my life. Number 1 is something I had to learn quickly, and I'm glad I learned so quickly. Nobody is coming to save you. You see, I was a Disney princess girly. I had a rough childhood, which at worst I was ruthlessly abused, and at best was completely ignored. My escape was Disney princess movies, social media, and any chick flick possible. I was convinced that there was going to be this handsome guy to rescue me, or I was going to be adopted, and finally have this loving family. Can you guess that never happened? But yes, despite my pleading to the sky and frequent daydreaming, it never happened. There was no rich and handsome guy, or Hallmark movie-esque family coming to save me. It was up to me. I was 18 and felt like a zombie. There was nothing keeping me going. I spoke to a counselor and spoke about my situation, and how I was tired of just speaking, and there being no action. Surprisingly, she took me serious, and helped me flee my abusive home. I finally was safe. Well, at least from my mother, I guess. I would find out that there are many wolves in this world, some friends, some pot-bellied dusties looking for a second wife. 18 in the middle of winter, living by myself, broke as hell, no family and barely any friends. I won't lie, I was shaking like a you-know-what. But alas, I had no choice. I had to be an adult. The second theme is order and principalities. I know this sounds more like one of those crime and law books, but I swear it'll make sense when I'm finished explaining. Order and principalities was and honestly is me structuring myself and my life. I had only myself to rely on, so I had to learn very quickly to be punctual, to have a schedule, pay bills on time, things like that. I couldn't flail around like a baby bird anymore. I desperately needed structure. The principalities side is me realizing I needed to enforce boundaries and think about what my principles are. What did I value, and what was I going to accept from myself and other people? Was I going to speak up when someone hurt my feelings, or ignore it, because I didn't want to be an issue, as I had always been told? The third theme is courage and resilience. I had to have the courage to go out into the world and get what I want out of it, and be resilient when things don't work out the way I imagined. I also had to cut off friends who I knew had always wanted me to do worse than them, despite claiming the opposite. The breaking point was when I was broke as hell, hanging on to hope and spirituality. I cooked a meal for me and my friend. She was late, of course, but I was in a good mood. The part that I realized we could no longer be friends is when she said she was envious of the way I was living, and went on a whole rant about how terrible her living space was with her college roommates. I was broke, barely getting by, depressed with basically no one, and was working from 9 to 10 p.m. when I wasn't at college. It wasn't a choice for me to not have to work, or stay home with my family, or have roommates at college. Other people my age were worried about making friends in college, while I was worried about the debt, which is why I went into a trade career/course. Here this girl is trying to insinuate I have it better, but only one of us gets to be a normal young person, and it's her. I realized I had to have the courage to let people go that were never going to empathize with me, and be resilient enough to keep going in a world that I felt had been cruel to me. The fourth theme is acceptance of what has been and what is. This is one that has come up quite often, and most recent as my birthday. Point blank period, my boyfriend made me sob on my birthday. Birthdays have always been very difficult for me. I've always known I wasn't loved or wanted by my mother, and was basically the child who was born because my dad wanted a daughter, and my mother wanted a permanent best friend. And when my dad went for work abroad and mother crashed out and broke up with him, I was a nasty reminder of the love she couldn't have. My dad's, I guess. I always say I grew up like I was a side chick who broke up my parents' marriage, and then just permanently moved in. It didn't help that my mother told my siblings, but more specifically me, that she wished we were never born, and that she envied women who were unmarried and child-free, constantly citing that they were happier than those that were. I remember there was a particularly heinous comment she made when I was 14 that resulted in me having depression for the first time, and solidified in my mind that I was a mistake. Therefore, my birthday was a giant stain on this big white sheet of the universe. I say all of this to say that I was already pretty sensitive that day, And if you watched my previous video, you would know that I cried the morning of my birthday due to a nasty call from my agency. So, I was already trying to hold it together as best as I could. Now my boyfriend is at times aloof. Sometimes it's cute, but sometimes it's straight up annoying. That day it was unbearably annoying. In short, we had an argument. I told him sometimes it's like he doesn't care. He got offended because, as he said, he tries so hard, which I recognize and appreciate him for. What I didn't appreciate was him saying nothing, walking into my living room and sitting there silent for damn near 10 minutes because he felt so offended, and then got his ass up to tell me while I was already crying that he's going home. No apology, no sense of comfort, just pending absence. I lost it, of course. I sobbed violently, grabbed my bottle of rosé, and went to town. By the end of it, he was on his knees looking guilty, as he should. I think y'all would be able to guess this, but my dad leaving for work, when he was literally my best friend for the first few years of my life, and my mother keeping me from him, resulted in some heavy abandonment issues, of course. So, putting it lightly, having someone tell me they're leaving, but especially on my birthday, was grounds for a crash out. I was drunk as hell and wanted to make the most out of my sad-ass birthday, so I played my favorite songs and danced like I was performing for the Super Bowl. He asked me frantically, did I forgive him? I told him I didn't care at the moment. But y'all know I brought it up a few days later. Not in a vindictive way, but you're going to apologize properly and fully acknowledge the pain you caused, or I'm leaving your ass and hitting up my old hoes. Y'all, this man thinks I'm playing, but all I want is an apology. Now I know this was long as hell, and you're probably confused as heck and ready to drag him. And so would I. My bunnies, but you know what, nah. Silence is sometimes best. I find that silence makes people feel very dumb when they're being, dumb as hell. I say all of this to say I accept the things that have happened in my life and are happening. I see the situations for what they are, and I don't let them get me super down. To me, life is kinda a joke. I take it seriously, but it's kinda silly. If I took it seriously all the time, I'd be super depressed. I wanted to come on here and say I'm so grateful for life and the blessings and sunshines and rainbows. But y'all, I can't lie. Life is a shoulder shrug right now. I'm a little unsure about my future, and I'm not necessarily ecstatic about life. But I have my health, a roof over my head, and food in my stomach. Anyways, that's all for this video. Don't worry, I will be back to my roasting program soon. I just had to get this out right quick. Love y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more AI yapping. Thanks.
Put this photo up. I put this photo up, and I drop them, because I don't care. I don't care.